What is with anime today and having some very good phrases? Gaining and losing things are an unavoidable part of life. You have joy and you have disappointment, and then it repeats. Such a good phrase. Very, very good message there. And just incredibly deep when you really just sit down and think about what that means. It's like saying we all, one day in our lives, had to go through dark times and happy times. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, but then another tunnel will eventually pop up again, and it will be back in that darkness. It always happens. There's always an up and downward motion, always, when it comes to life. And that's very true. It is a very true thing when it comes to life, because I know for a fact I could speak from experience. Now, there's probably many out there that have had even greater experiences with this, but I do know that is a very true saying. You have very good and happy times, and then you can have very sad and depressing times and lonely times, and then it repeats once again. It's just good message. I really love that message, and I think that's one of the big reasons why I love March Comes In Like a Lion so much. It's because you could definitely see that the writer of the series is very fully aware of how people normally are in real life, and are fully experienced with how people interact with others, to how people deal with the feeling of loneliness, to isolation, to also dealing with the feelings of actually feeling like they belong somewhere but not belonging somewhere. You can see the writer is very aware of these themes and how real life is actually like, and I like that. I appreciate that fact when it comes to the March Comes In Like a Lion. But anyways, though, Ray's character in this episode, oh man. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, I teared up. I actually legit teared up. I'm not even gonna lie. I teared up when I saw that scene when everybody was just, congratulating Ray. They're like, hey, you gotta teach us and all that. We have a newcomer king in our, our group and all that. Hey, let's talk about this man. Everybody's just talking about Ray, and this is the first time in his life people have actually actively been cheering him up, or actively been cheering him on, talking about him, noticing his existence. This is the first time he's really ever experienced this, and when he realizes that, you see the man just like, it takes it off his face. We don't really get to see his face, but we could see the shock at first, but then you just see how he acts, and he's like, I need to go to the bathroom, and he goes to the bathroom, and he starts crying. And it's not tears of, sadness, it's tears of joy, because it's the first time in his life that he's truly been in a place that he doesn't feel alone. He actually feels like he's wanted. He feels like he belongs somewhere, and it's an experience that he's truly never had before. And I find it so wonderful when he actually finally realized what he has around him. For instance, when he realized that he had these group of friends that actually cared about him. That was just a great moment, because stuff like that does happen. I mean, good things happen in our lives you don't even realize. You probably take for granted, and that's basically what was going on there. Ray was kind of unaware of the fact of how much his life has really changed. I mean, he was aware of how, the sisters helped him out, but he was unaware of the fact of how his school life has just changed so dramatically that when he finally knows, he's like, yo, whoa, when did I end up in such a warm and happy place? And I'm like, yo, my heart, my coke girl right now, it's straight up, it made me sad. I had them emotions. I'm like, this is just a beautiful episode, and I can't get enough of this series. I'm so glad the series isn't ending yet. I'm glad we're going to have more of it this upcoming season for Winter of Anime 2017, because I'd be sad. I'd be very sad to see this series already go, because it's easily one of my favorites from, this year and all that. One of my favorite anime that has come out, and I think many can agree with me. If you have watched the series, if you're up to date with it, you could definitely agree that it is easily one of the best in terms of writing, character development, character progression, and all that, and the characterization, to just art and music, and Shaft doing a fantastic job with that. I just think it's a really good series, a phenomenal series, and, honestly, it's just definitely one of the best. So, anyways, let's talk about, the beginning of the episode. So, it is revealed that Ray is going to be going up against Soya. So, that is going to be something to look forward to, because Soya is a character that's more like an enigma. We don't really know much about him. We do know that he goes through his own little trial and tribulations. We do know that he has his own, hell he has to go through. And we do know that this man has his own times he struggles. And we've seen him thanks to, Shimada going up against him in the last season. However, we're finally going to have Ray confronting this man for the first time. And this is something I have been looking forward to for a very long time, because Soya is a character that reminds me a lot of Rei. He reminds me a lot of him. And I believe when he finally confronts him, something is bound to happen. Something very crazy is bound to happen. And it's probably going to tip Rei's character development over the edge, and he's going to permanently change for the good, or even the bad, depending on how it goes. But I can see a lot of change happening to Rei once he finally confronts Soya and has that match with him. I'm looking forward to that, because that is something I've been waiting for since the beginning of the series when that character was first introduced. But, anyways, moving on, though, we also have the fact that Shimada is finally gotten out of his slump. He is actually moving on up, he is no longer being depressed, and he's back on his horse, and he's pushing forward when it comes to shogi, and he's even near the top again to where he's fighting a very high-ranked player. That makes me happy, because Shimada, fantastic character. I mean, after his episode, he got, like, all that focus in the last season, and we saw how much he developed, how much he struggles and changed, his backstory and all of that. He was such a great character. I'm like, yo, I love Shimada. I didn't really care about him at first, but when I saw that episode when he went in, and when he lost, though, but even still, he went down like a man, I was like, this is such a good character, and I'm glad to see him back on his horse. He's doing good again, and he's not, giving up. He stands strong, and he's trying to go for that victory. I'm like, good man, Shimada. You're doing a good job. I'm glad you haven't given up, and you continue to press forward because you love shogi so much. So, yeah. Besides that, we also didn't actually have the sisters in this episode, which makes me a little bit upset, but at the same time, it's understandable because we can't always have the sisters in every single episode. And once again, this goes back to the point I stated a couple episode reviews ago. I stated just because Hina has her own personal character arc going on, for instance, she's getting bullied and, they're trying to figure out how to handle that, does not mean that the world just stops and revolves around her character. And it's one of the big reasons why I said I love this series so much, is because it actually feels like real life in some ways. Because just because someone's having their own problems in real life and they're experiencing difficulties and issues and stuff does not mean that everybody else's problems just goes away and you're the only one that has problems. Everybody has problems. Everybody has things they have to go through and deal with, and that's what's going on here, what we've been seeing in these episodes. What we have with Nikaido, what was going on with Rei in this episode, to Shimada going through his own issues, and just all these things here and there, and I like how the series continuously reinforces that fact that it's not just about one character. It's not even just about Rei either. It's about everybody and how they fit into this world and how they're changing and how they're trying to improve themselves, better themselves, for they can actually be stronger and deal with everyday problems. That's kind of what's been going on here, and so I'm upset that the sisters weren't in this episode, but like I said, I'm happy that it continues to do what it's doing, because it reinforces the fact that the writer loves to showcase different things besides just focusing on one character. So the last thing I want to talk about is that scene towards the end when Rei, he lost his club. Which is sad. It is legit sad, because it's like what I said earlier at the beginning of this video. We gain things, we lose things. It's an unavoidable part of life, and it's very true. It's a very true thing. It happens all the time. And because, the club he was in, all of the members were third years, so that means that they have to go away. They can't just stay in the club room the rest of their life, because they have to move on with their lives. They have to progress themselves and, put themselves out there. In this case, Rei is losing the people that he's been spending time with, this warmth he's had, which is sad, it is, but we all lose things, and that's basically what was going on. And even though he's losing this, he's still trying to take one step forward and trying to find more people that he can have this warm environment with. In this case, it was a little bit different from what he expected, but he did manage to get the club room to fill up with more members, which were all over the age of 24. You had the vice principal and the principal join the club. Okay, that's legit funny. I can't even, yo, that was just, so surprising. That Rei straight up was like, aren't you the vice principal and principal? And they're just sitting there trying to join the club. And they're like, they're the vice principal and principal joining this shogi club. Like, yo, what? I just couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, that is just messed up and so weird. But then they're like, I just want to learn shogi. I want to learn shogi from you. I want you to teach me and all that. I'm like, oh my God, this is just amazing, because it does make sense when it comes to Rei's character. He's more like an adult than a child, and so I feel like he'd fit in with the vice principal and principal, because he's always around adults and he's always having to deal with them. So I believe the environment with the vice principal and principal would be able to help him out quite a bit, because once again, like I said, he doesn't really intermingle with children much. He more along the lines likes to, I guess, be around people that are more of an adult stature. So I just wanted to point that out. So I'm going to end it there. Let me me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode. If you enjoyed my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. Happy holidays. And one last thing before I end this video, if you have not been getting notifications to when I upload, just a brief FYI, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button, because when I upload a video, you will get notified. But if you haven't clicked it, then there's a lot of times to where you won't get notified, because YouTube for some reason requires you to double subscribe just to get notified anymore, because the subscribe button doesn't even really do much anymore, just FYI. But even if you don't care to get notified if I upload a video, at the very least do that for channels that you do care about. So I love you guys, please be safe, Chibi out.